You want all the informations about the new Drake Golem or the ATLS Geo? A complete tour and a complete overview? Then you are in the right place. Because in this review we take a detailed look at the new single-seater miner by Drake, the Golem, as well as the new mining mech by Argo, the ATLS Geo. Both vehicles are available with the 4.1 and are currently testable on the test servers for Evocati. Therefore, of course, we took the opportunity and tested both in detail to offer you a complete review. There will probably be an announcement from CIG for an implementation into the game, as well as a price overview, and of course the purchase options very soon. But the fact remains that both are mining vehicles which, after the last heavily represented cargo area, will also play a role in the mining area. Long awaited for mining. And that of course especially pleases peace-loving players for industrial gameplay. What happens when you mix a Drake Cutter, a Drake Mule and a Prospector? Clearly you get a Drake Golem. But first the key features. It's a cockpit-only design, so no interior. And the Drake Golem is a pure single-seater with a direct focus on mining. And it is much smaller than a MISC Prospector, and this the current smallest mining ship in Star Citizen. With a total capacity of 32 SCU divided into 16 SCU containers, it can definitely keep up with the Prospector. This also applies to the armament, where we have 2 size 1 Badger laser repeaters and 2 size 1 missiles. Unusual for a mining ship, but typical for Drake, as they probably also get a laser repeater on a wheelchair. And of course, a mining ship must not miss the mining laser. This is an extendable and foldable variant which moves from the back to the front via the upper area. And of course, we take a more detailed look at it here. The components come in size 1 as expected, where we have a Thermex cooler, a Fortitude power plant, a Goliath quantum drive and a Bulwark shield. So a solid basic equipment and no surprises here. The Golem relies on a Drake typical industrial tape look, so many visible pipes, practical handles, foldable pilot seats and the like. For the implementation, we have to deal with a slightly lower quantum fuel capacity, where we are clearly below a Prospector. And the Golem definitely relies on a single-player mining, where we have to do without a lockout function over a bed, of course. But we also have the necessary possibilities on board for other professions. This means storage spaces, for example for a weapon, mining equipment or storage capacities for drinks and souvenirs. And the Golem is really small, so it fits in the C2 or M2. However, the storage spaces are completely attached to the outside area due to the lack of interior space, whereby we take a direct look at it here. But first a short look into the cockpit, whereby this reminds us strongly of a Drake Mule or a Drake Cutter, and it is arranged a bit box-like. The overview is sufficient, but downwards we have a completely instilled metal, so no visibility in the outside. This limits our view in the front or to the sides upwards. Because the entry and exit can also be found via the flap that opens forward. And since Drake does not use any components from the rod, we also have our very own new mining laser on board, the Pitman. This offers solid values but a significantly increased resistance and instability, whereby the optimal mining window is also significantly extended. This will be interesting. Basically, the Golem is a screwed-together version of 2 containers for mining material with a front-facing cockpit mining laser. In addition, the Drake typical VTOL engines, whereby we find 2 on the sides at the back and 2 on the sides at the front, and the ship is ready. The mentioned storage space for equipment, water or food can be found on the right front side with 900 micro SCU. Also in the front area there is an additional flap where we can store equipment again, a pistol on the left and a multi-tool on the right. And finally, on the left side, we also find an extendable compartment for a long gun. So enough space for the most necessary items and complete equipment, for example for other mechanics that require weapons or equipment. But in order to access the ship's components, we first have to discard the 2 mining containers and unlock the ports here. To do this, we either use the right Alt key and K or use Alt and F for the circle menu. Then we have the option of removing the two mining containers directly with a simple tractor beam. You can also remove and retach both containers from the back in the landed state without any problems to getting there. And here, the whole thing looks more like a slightly larger version of an Argo MPUV, of course in the cargo version. And as soon as the mining containers are removed, we have access to the ship's components, which are also attached to the outer area. This means that we basically have to remove the two containers in order to have access to the components at all. And here you get a better feeling that the Drake Golem has become a clearly compact and very spacious ship and offers everything you need for mining, but without any luxury and of course a slingshot seat. In the two rear outriggers or in the middle area there are additional switches to access the different ship components, because these are installed on the side and in the middle. And this gives the clear advantage that with activated cargo containers, so locked, there is no possibility for other players to steal or remove your components from the ship. In turn, this makes it difficult to repair or opt for energy or engineering gameplay as soon as it is included in the game. Because without a multi-tool, we are completely abandoned and cannot exchange components with the Golem. In the middle area, just in front of the cockpit, we find another fuse, so the basis for the engineering gameplay. And with that, we have seen all the basic components and possibilities of the new Drake Golem. So let's screw the whole thing together again, or insert the two cargo containers and do a little splash tour. Because the main purpose of the Golem is, of course, mining. And here it depends on whether it can compete against a prospector or larger mining ships like the Argo mode. It is also important to close your ports again via the right Alt key and K or Alt and F for the circle menu so that you don't lose or use anything on the way. The Golem's flight feel is quite positive to rate, as it flies agile and with just under 202 meters per second, much faster than the Prospector with just under 156 meters per second. And in addition, especially in sunlight, we don't have these annoying reflections and clear look which we have on the Prospector through its polished surface. Here we only have adhesive walls, pipes and a lot of dirt, which significantly improves our vision. And of course, a highlight is the foldable mining head. Because this one, for example, does not get in the way in space combat against smaller intruders. That means we can rely only drive forward if necessary. And here it would have been my wish automatically that we could have attached a salvaging head to a Golem, for example, instead of a mining head, and charge the containers at the back. But who knows what other variants will come to us. Mining remains as mining always is, relatively relaxed, and here too the Drake Golem offers no noteworthy special features. So, disadvantages compared to a Prospector in terms of the possibility of cracking different stones we have not been able to determine. But a specialization is worth it if you want to go on a professional mining hunt. Of course, further extensive tests on various usability or gadgets of mining equipment are necessary here. But let's move to the second new vehicle, namely the new Argo ATLS Geo. This has also been developed for mining, but for vehicle mining. Here we have the middle area from ship mining to hand mining. And the Geo has a special feature that we have been waiting for so long, namely a special jump nozzle, so a jetpack, and of course a mining laser whereby we can switch between fracture and collecting mode. And it is also been confirmed that the standard ATLS also get these freaking jetpack. Of course, we also had the idea that a salvaging variant on the Argo ATLS could also be an interesting option here. But the new ATLS also has some additional features, which will be of course look at it in detail. But have we already mentioned the jump nozzle, so the jetpack? Yes, we have the first jetpack in the game, and we had a lot more fun with the ATLS Geo than just jumping over the ground. And as mentioned, it is confirmed that this feature comes also with the standard ATLS. But in the first tests we had the feeling that the jump nozzle, so the jetpack, were still significantly too strong, as we could sometimes hover over a complete XXL hangar. In addition, the ATLS gives the opportunity with a lot of power, and we get from A to B really quickly, and this much faster than with the normal walking mode, more like a hoverbike. But of course, it remains to be seen, especially for these new ships, when this will be a balancing point. Therefore, we assume that the one or other value could change within the next patches. Because currently it is an awesome way to get from A to B on foot. And if we screw a large weapon, some rockets and a nice armor on this chassis, we would have also another mech that we have been waiting for a long time. You know what I mean. But the Geo, as I said, has some additional features, which we'll look at in detail now. Because on the outside we have two buttons. Here we can open a small weapon compartment for a pistol or multi-tool, as well as a cargo container, which is used as a transportable box and can be exchanged. But beware, just like other ground vehicles like the Rock, other players who do not expect it can also steal your cargo. So always watch your back, not that someone steals your boxes. In addition, we have a bracket for the max lift tractor beam on the right rear side, which we can also attach to the Argo ATLS Geo. And on the left side, we have some space for mining gadgets. So, definitely two exciting new vehicles that come into play with the 4.1. For the Golem, we expect around $100 warbond price, and for the ATLS Geo, the same price as the standard variant, so between $40 and $60. But what are your forecasts and what do you think of these new vehicles? Let us know in the comments, in the Discord or in our daily Twitch live streams. I say goodbye until next time. Thanks for watching and see you in the verse.